What is up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Not So Stupid Podcast. Today, we're going to be breaking down why meal plans suck and why they're a waste of your money a majority of the time. So, for those of you that don't know, before I dive into why they suck, meal plan is a structured way of eating, and it's a very fixed and rigid way of eating as well. So, usually in a meal plan, you're given this list of foods, a list of a few meals that you can have throughout the day, and you need to have these exact foods with these exact measurements at this exact time of day, no matter what. So it will look something like meal 1, 8 a.m. You're having 100 grams of egg whites, 2 pieces of fruit, a liter of water, and maybe a cup of almond milk or something. Meal 2, you're having a tuna packet with 2 servings of vegetables. It's even more specific than that. It's like 5 ounces of grilled asparagus, and then you'll have 4 ounces of cooked rice, and then it goes on like that throughout the day. Usually meal plans are around 5 or 6 meals a day for all the ones that I've seen. And you notice I said I've seen, it's because I will never make anyone a meal plan. I have never made a meal plan for any of my clients, and they've gone on to be successful with their journey, whether that's fat loss or muscle building. And the reason for that is because meal plans are just a cop-out. They're the easy way out in a lot of ways, and their success is always short-term. It's never sustained. It's a lot like going through high school and going through college, cheating your way through the entire thing. You get the grades you want, you're successful, you get your degree. Once you get your degree though, and you're in the actual working world, being an employee like you trained to be, you're pretty useless. You can't do the things you want to do. You make some guesses, have a lot of doubt with your approach, and eventually you'll realize this guy doesn't know what he's doing, and they fire him. The meal plan could help you get to this goal. For the people that do finish it and follow through with it, it could help you get to your goal of losing weight. You get that degree, right? After that, after you're done with the meal plan, after you reach your goal, what do? You want to eat regular foods again. You don't want to just eat these generically healthy foods that now you're just sick of at this point because you've eaten the same exact thing for so long. You want to have coffee with a friend and have a donut when you have your coffee. You want to go to a birthday party and not bring your own meals. You want to be able to enjoy a cake or enjoy whatever things they're bringing. You want to go to the Super Bowl party with your friends and have some wings, maybe have a slice of pizza. Those things aren't included in a meal plan. Those things are shunned in a meal plan. It creates this greater sense of guilt and shame when you do eat these foods. And that's just reinforced with a meal plan. With a meal plan, you don't have the flexibility to have the foods you like. Instead, you're given this list of foods, like I said, and you will always look at these foods and think, these foods are good. These foods are going to help me get to my goal. These are the foods I need to have to get to my goal. Any other food will be cheating. Any other food will be setting me back. It's bad for me. It creates this good and bad morality based around the foods that you're eating, which is silly because food is just food. It's just an arrangement of calories, an arrangement of different macronutrients. But when you do a meal plan, by the time you're done with it, you have this ingrained in your head. Whether it happens consciously or subconsciously, you now think and associate all foods off of a meal plan as bad foods. And likewise, you think of all these foods as good foods. And when you don't want the good foods, you feel guilty. And when you do want the bad foods, you feel guilty as well. And when you actually eat the bad foods, you feel even more ashamed of what you did. And this mentality is harmful as hell in the long term, for sure, because you won't be able to live life comfortably because you never learned how to eat these foods or how to incorporate these foods, because the meal plan never incorporated it for you. You never actually understand what you're eating. You never actually learn what these foods do, what these different foods are made out of. When are they helpful for you? If you feel like you're about to hit a crash in the middle of the day after your lunch hour at work, what do you eat to help negate that? If you're about to work out, what do you eat? What kind of foods are you going to need to incorporate? You don't know these things. You didn't develop any healthy decision-making skills. You just went and followed this plan to a T, and once it was done, you didn't know what to do. And it's harder to learn how to eat. It's harder to go through that skill. Again, just like with going to college. It's hard to actually study and learn everything you need to learn and pass all those classes. It's hard to do that. But if you're not doing that, once you graduate, once you get that degree, you're screwed. But if you did do all your studying, if you did learn all those skills that you needed while you were in college, once you graduate and you get an actual job, you're set because you learned what you needed to learn to be sustainable with your success. So you got your degree, and now you can use it consistently, and it creates an income for you, and you're fulfilled because you took the time to learn the foundational aspects of it. It's important to understand what you're eating. What are the different macronutrients? Avocados are fat dominant, but they have some protein. Steak is mainly a protein source, but it also has some fat. Chicken breast has pretty much just protein, almost no fat, no carbs. White rice is just a carb source. Brown rice is a carb source, but it has a little more fiber. These vegetables are very high in fiber and they'll help me out a lot. Peas and broccoli have more protein, and if I need more protein, this will help me with my protein goal. All of those things are things you learn and understand, and they help you make better decisions for yourself when you're prepping your own food, when you're ordering food out. You know what you're going to eat, what it's made out of, and how much of it you should have. The diet you take to reach your goal isn't necessarily the diet you're going to have to maintain your goal either. Knowing what all these foods are made of is helpful in that regard, because you'll know that, okay, I had a donut that is a mix of carbs and fats for dinner. I shouldn't have as many carbs and fats to balance things out. You're able to make that healthy decision for yourself because you recognize what your foods are made out of, and you're able to balance things out throughout the day to maintain the weight that you lost. You're about to work out in an hour. I should have some protein and carbs to help fuel my training. I just finished my workout. I need some protein and carbs once again to help me recover from my training. All of these things are different ways for you to use what you learned about food, when it's optimal to have those foods, and how it's able to help you thrive in those situations so that you can be sustainable with your fat loss. It's really easy to lose weight, I should say. It's really hard to keep the weight off. And that's really the goal. The goal is learning how to keep the weight off. And you can't do that with a meal plan. All you do with a meal plan is follow a step-by-step guide. But when you get out into the real world post-meal plan and you're trying to maintain your fat loss, it's not a step-by-step guide. You're gonna need to use critical thinking skills. You're gonna have decisions to make. And if you have a poor relationship with food, those decisions are gonna be really hard to make. And a lot of the wrong decisions in a row are going to take you back to where you started, which happens more often than not with people that use meal plans. It's a big reason why I don't use meal plans, is that they are temporary fixes, and they're a cop-out for doing the actual work, for learning what your food is. The one thing you're gonna do the rest of your life is eat and breathe. You're not guaranteed to stand the rest of your life. You're not guaranteed to work out the rest of your life, but you will need to eat. You will need to breathe the rest of your life. If you don't learn how to do those two things, you're gonna have a hard time with keeping the body that you want. You're gonna have a hard time with having good energy levels, having a good mood, having a good sex drive, being a healthy person. You're gonna struggle with all of that if you don't learn how to eat and what your body needs to fuel properly. You will never thrive without those understandings. You will never thrive without those learnings. I'm never gonna rob you of the opportunity to learn how your body works and what it needs to thrive. I won't steal from you your only chance of figuring out how to think for yourself. I won't keep you from developing healthy decision-making skills. I'm definitely not going to further damage this relationship with food that you've built over time. I'm not going to magnify the good versus bad mentality that you have. You'll learn to love all the foods and see them for what they are, different kinds of nutrients that you can have in moderation. You can eat anything you want, but learning when to do it and how much of it to do is vital for that success. So when you put your money toward a meal plan, all you're really getting is a list of foods that you're gonna get sick of, that are just generically healthy, that you quote unquote know you should be eating. After that, you'll be on your own. And after that, you're not gonna really have any direction, especially when life gets busy again. When things pick up. Maybe right now you have the time to cook 5 meals a day and follow this plan to a T, but what happens when you add another commitment to your day? Now your time is tighter. Now you can't cook 5 meals a day. Now you'll have to eat out a little more. How are you going to be able to balance what you're eating out with what your daily caloric and macronutrient needs are? The main reason why meal plans suck is that they won't teach you anything. They are a cop-out, and you don't actually develop lifelong skills with them. The main reason they suck is because you have a distorted morality around food, around what's good and what's bad. And that is something that is going to impact every single food interaction that you have, every single social gathering that you go to, every single coffee date, friend catch-up that you go to, any kind of social event. You will feel the ramifications of that. Instead of having a meal plan in the long term, do the work in the short term. Do the work right now to learn these skills, to become better with food, to understand what your body needs. And you will be one of those people that actually achieve permanent fat loss, as opposed to being one of the 80% of Americans that gain all the weight they lose back and more within a year of losing it. If you're gonna spend money on a meal plan, might as well spend it on a quality coach that's gonna help you teach those things. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you found a lot of value in this and I was able to help shift your perspective on meal plans right now. If you want to talk about what your nutrition would look like and what individualized nutrition means for you for the short term and the long term regarding your goals, feel free to email me or apply for a free strategy call linked below in the show notes. I'm more than happy to help point you in that direction and get you started on the right path. But otherwise, thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.